Everybody, welcome to One Set. My name is Anthony Irvin.
What's up, everybody? How we doing?
This is my co-host, Jim Green. This has been a year in the making.
It's really been 23 years in the making. Who wants to tell it? You or me? I don't know. Let's do it.
All right, man. Let's do this. Episode 1. Everybody, welcome to One Set. My name is Anthony Irvin. This is my co-host, Jim Green.
What's up, everybody? How we doing?
This has been a year in the making, I'd say. And this is something that we've been, kind of planning out in the background.
I'd say it's really been 23 years in the making. I mean, that's
true.
I mean, podcasts weren't a thing 23 years ago, obviously, but I mean, when we were sitting next to each other in 6th grade math, who wants to tell it? You or me? I mean,
I guess we can go a little bit back and forth. I mean,
like
you were saying, 6th grade math, and I think we were in homeroom together, right? I mean, who would have known?
Yeah, I mean, last name wise, we Green and Irvin, we were right there.
Yeah. So who would have known, two kids, especially coming from two different elementary schools? I mean, I'm not sure what you were thinking in those first couple days of middle school, but I was going in there just thinking, hey, a bunch of brand new kids, and I can't really say I was nervous or excited, but just what is this to bring? And then ironically, we had our names together, and just started going off of that.
It's so weird to think I haven't thought about this in a long time. The 5th grade, what was it? Field trip.
Yeah,
was all of the 5th graders from all 4 of the elementary schools in our district went to the same. I forget what was it, like Brandywine Park.
I think it probably was Brandywine. Yeah, and even then, it was more like you didn't even really know anybody from other schools. You were just kind of sticking to your schools, so nobody really mingled in a way.
Yeah, only like I think if you played sports in elementary school, you kind of knew some kids from the other elementary schools.
Yeah.
I mean, I played t-ball 5th and 6th grade, and then Little League 7th grade. I knew a couple people, a couple of the guys that I was growing up with at my elementary school, but I didn't know a lot of the other kids, or I wasn't a really sociable kid at all. So even doing this is very new for me. I mean, you had, and you still do. You have your table talk podcast.
Yeah, going from podcasting, and it's something that's still, even though I've been doing it for about a little over a year with my podcast Table Talk, and like you said, I'm not a very sociable person, so it took me a while to kind of take on the role of being the person to start a conversation, because I was always that
and put
kid
yourself out there
and put myself out there, because I'm always thinking in my head oh, what are people thinking of me? Did I say something stupid, or is somebody gonna think, oh, what's this kid talking about? All through my middle school years, I was pretty much I don't think I really got out of that until high school, college. I was still a very shy person.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we kind of got off track. I'm going to zero back to this real quick, but when we did the 5th grade trip and we saw kids from the other bus, and I'm like, we're literally going to 6th grade in, I guess the trip was in I think the field trip was in May. It was towards the end of the year for sure in 5th grade. And then it's wow, in 4 months, we're all going to be in school together and not know each other. It was so weird. I had my friends in elementary school. I had not a lot of friends in elementary school, but they were all either from my neighborhood or I knew them from my elementary school. I had class with them, and then I remember I can tell you who was sitting next to me in the cafeteria the first day of 6th grade, I had no idea who she was.
Hmm.
Um, and she felt like really out of place, but she wound up being one of the most popular girls
Uh
like
huh.
through middle school and high school. Excuse me. But it was just surreal being first day of sixth grade and looking around and being like, I don't know anybody here really,
Exactly.
except for the kids that I went to my elementary school with. Obviously, I was familiar with them, but that's what there were four elementary schools. So what was that, like 25% of that cafeteria of the entire sixth grade? It's
Right.
so weird. It's so weird. And
I
then
think that would had to been the most intimidating thing to just like you said, just being in a group of like people that you don't know that you're
mhm.
gonna be with for the next 7 years,
Yeah, 7 years.
and
Yeah,
you think and you
minus
got
the
to really
few
know
that
a decent amount of
moved,
people,
or
but yeah.
yeah, yeah, minus the few that moved away or
Uh huh.
got expelled or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
um, but yeah, well, yeah. So sixth grade math, Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis. So let's
I
let's let's
hope
talk
he's
about
doing well.
this. I think
Yeah,
it's a good way to you know put this
maybe put
into
it out there, put
put
this out there in the universe and see if anyone listening, uh, if
remembers.
anyone know, well, yeah, and if anyone has any idea or any way of getting a hold of him, um, I mean, I haven't heard otherwise, but I hope that he's, alive and well.
Yes. Yeah.
So we have was the one set name my idea or your idea?
I think it
I
was
think
your idea.
I think it was my idea. Yeah, because we were talking in his class, and his thing was if you talked when you weren't supposed to talk, he would assign you like an extra homework like punishment assignment. You had it was math class.
Yes.
So we had to write out a times table, one times one, one times two, one times three, all the way down to 12.
Yes.
And then we had to go over to two times one, two times two, two times three, and run it all the way down to two times 12 until we got all the way over to 12 times 12. And and I'm pretty sure we had to like write the answer, right?
From my vague memory, it's like you had to finish the whole paper, and
Yeah, yeah.
it
Well,
was his form of
and
like
why
punishment. But yeah.
would you write out one times one and then not give the answer? Like if he's a math teacher, he would want you to practice.
Yeah.
It was more of the annoyance of like, okay, this is going to take time, and then that was like your timeout for talking when you shouldn't have talked. And he said one set Green and Irvin, and I feel like that was the start of when you and I became friends. You know,
Yeah,
um,
from not to cut you off, but uh,
no, that I mean that
not to
was
really correct you. It was Green and Magic, because he had nicknames for people.
okay.
He remembered, because I remember. I mean, he knew I played basketball, and
And Magic Johnson.
so
That's right.
he said
I
Magic
forgot about that
Johnson
part.
because of my name, and he knew you were a dancer, and he called you Green Monster.
That's right. That's right.
So, like I said, we met each other in class, and we were, we didn't know each other, but we were like, hey, it's a cool guy.
Well, we're
He's
sitting next to each other, and were you into wrestling yet, or did I get you into
you
wrestling?
got me into wrestling, and that may have
Okay.
been the spark of what we were talking about. I don't really know what we were talking about.
I'm I'm
Obviously, he
I'm
was tuned
I'm
into
pretty
what we were.
sure. I'm pretty sure that I mean I don't know what else we would have been talking about at the time
Right.
because like we didn't know each other really. You know what
Yeah,
I
and
mean?
I
So
would probably think that's the only thing that kind of like combined us to like have a common ground of like something to talk about. And I don't even think we noticed what he did until we were like, oh wait, oh, we just got in trouble. And so that that's what sparked the name of this podcast. So
yeah.
we gotta show some love to Mr. Davis, and like Jim said, we hope that he's doing well. We'd like to try to get him on this show, and maybe try to talk to him.
Even just for like a mini cameo, like, or for him to say, "Hey, I'm that math teacher," and
Yeah,
uh, hopefully touch base with him, and um, yeah, I mean, his sons have both played professional baseball,
exactly.
so we should be able to like find. So it's so funny, and if we get him on the show, I'll try to remember this.
Yeah.
Um, he put his house up for sale, right?
Hmm.
He was telling us in class, and he's like, "You want to know how much I'm selling my house for?" He pulls out a $50 bill, and he sets it on the chalk like tray,
Yeah.
and he let it just sit there. I'm like mortified because, like, don't get me wrong, by all means, I didn't come from rich parents or
Right.
anything.
Right.
I want to say, like, I just had my birthday. I think I had just turned 12,
Uh
and I think my godfather, he gave me a $50 bill for my birthday, and I had it in my wallet
huh.
in school, which is stupid. Why would I need $50 in sixth grade at school? That's
Right.
just ridiculous. But um, I I almost told him. I almost pulled my wallet out to tell him. I was like, "I'll buy it right now." um, but I was terrified that if I told people that I was carrying $50 on me, that someone might like try to beat me up and steal my wallet or
Right.
something.
Right.
So I kept my mouth shut. Probably a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I probably would have
Usually,
been the same way.
yeah, usually a good thing to keep to yourself. You're kind of safer that way, and yet here we are doing a podcast and just chatting, and putting things out there.
Yeah.
Um,
But in the thick of it, if anybody's watching and went to school with us at Northley Middle School, not sure if we can say it or edit it out, but I
yeah, I
think
noticed that you and I both kind of cleared away from saying which elementary schools that we went to. I was like, all right, I guess we're being discreet about our location here. But then, I did say Aston, and you said Brookhaven, right?
I think so. If not, we just did, so it's good. But
Hey
most
guys,
of our,
that's
I'm
that's
sure
that's
most of our
that's where
audience
we
right now
grew
is going to
up.
be local. So I mean, if
That's
anybody knows of his whereabouts or how he's doing, you know, you guys can always just email us at onesetpod@gmail.com, and
that's
we'd
that's
love to
right.
try to get in contact with him because we definitely want to show some love to him to and give him credit for what he started is was a like a 20
Was
plus
was
year
was like the catalyst to what brought us to become. I mean,
best friends for 20
best
plus
friends
years.
for, yeah. So, um, cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically the intro into why this podcast is called One Set. Why it is what it is.
And with that, for people who may not know our passions and backgrounds, outside of being a daily scientist myself, I also am a musician, a working musician. And Jim, you're a professional dancer. You're going through different studios, touring with different people, and we definitely want to put that into retrospect with showing people how our passions have also brought us together, even though we're not in the same profession. I've always felt that music and dance are right there together because
They're
without music, you know there is no dance. I mean, you can still, but the music is what drives dance, and
it's the
so
driving force behind it. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's so funny. I mean, I started I started dancing when I was 7, um, and then it's so funny. I mean, I didn't know that I wanted to pursue dancing professionally until I was maybe in 6th or 7th grade. Yeah, 7th grade. we had to do research, and I don't know if you remember Miss Laskowski's class where we had to do a project on or like an assignment researching what kind of college that we were interested in. And I really wanted to go to NYU
Mm.
for
I
dance.
I
Like
think
that
I
was
I think I may remember the assignment or you talking about something like that.
yeah. So definitely by my the guy that choreographed my hip hop solo in sixth grade. Um, that basically kickstarted me in a sense, and like I would take from him uh, at this dance convention that my studio took me to. Um, the studio I was growing up at, rather.
Yeah.
Not my studio, but um, I saw him perform in like the faculty shows at the end of the weekend, and I was like, I want to be like him. I want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And while I haven't taught at any major conventions yet, the being on stage, doing the backup dance thing, I have. Yeah, the God, when was this? August, when I flew down to Tampa and did the show there, and then I flew over to San Jose and I did the show there. I think the Tampa show had like 20,000 people in and it's just that, and that was my second show with that many people in the audience, and the first time I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is it. Like it's one of the things that I wanted to do since I was in sixth and seventh grade. So I mean, to be able to get there was a really rewarding moment. So I mean, and I'm not trying to like brag. I'm just saying
No.
it's been a passion of mine, and I wanted to open up my own dance studio one day, and my family did do that, and
Mm-hmm.
um, we didn't survive the pandemic, unfortunately. It's I do miss it, but
Yeah.
I am still scheduled teaching at four studios from Limerick, Bluebell, PA, to Wilmington, Delaware, and to Baltimore, Maryland. Like every week, I travel to all four of those studios, and um, it's pretty cool. So, quick story. Just because we were talking about how I got you into wrestling,
Uh-huh.
my first girlfriend, in I mean, we were going out,
Uh-huh.
whatever that means in sixth grade. There's nothing super serious happening
Mm-hmm.
yet.
Puppy love.
Um, yeah. She she's the one that got me into wrestling the summer before you and I met. So,
Yeah.
and I mentioned her only because we did grow up dancing together at the same studio. Um, I hadn't talked to her in years. We had a falling out. I want to say it was about 8 years ago. She just reached out to me like we're recording this Tuesday night, so
Uh-huh.
it's the fourth. She reached out to me Sunday night or Sunday afternoon and was like, "Hey, I know that this is random, but I have a studio that is in a pinch and they need a hip hop choreographer tomorrow night. Can you do it?" And I don't even know if I told you about this. It was up in Lehigh, uh, which is like an hour and a half from me here.
Yeah, it's a good
Before,
it's a good amount.
fortunately, I had a solo rehearsal that was scheduled for last night because I work with him on Mondays in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
um, on a solo routine that I'm setting. But his mom had to postpone because he had a doctor's appointment, and um, I mean everybody's getting it, so I might as well just say I tested positive 2 days before Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't get to do normal Christmas with my family this year. I was quarantined at my apartment,
Yeah.
um, which it just it was brutal. But I know I'm not the only person that ran into that situation. I had a couple of other dance colleagues that they couldn't have their normal Christmas either for the same reason.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, I'm glad. I
well,
mean, glad you're feeling better now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and you know, I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about it because I don't know if people are like just sick of it or over it or whatever. But
yeah, it's a lot of mixed decisions at this point.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I just I know when COVID first hit,
hmm
uh, people that were testing positive were kind of like not opening up about it.
Yeah.
They were not that they were embarrassed, but
Right.
they just wanted to keep it to themselves and not alarm any of their loved ones or like yeah. I mean,
Because I
basically
think it was
that,
so
right?
new that
People were like,
we
I don't know
barely
if I
even
want
knew
to.
anything about it,
Yeah, yeah,
and it was like,
yeah,
okay, I mean, I got it, but like, where not necessarily where do you go from here, but like, what's the because we didn't have many protocols at that point either, other than
right,
quarantine.
right.
You know.
Well, I mean, I got vaccinated back in April, and
hmm
then um, it was you heard people saying, oh, you need to get your booster after 6 months or within 6 to 12, or
Yeah.
people were saying everyone's saying everything. You
Yeah.
don't know what to believe anymore, right?
Right. Right. Exactly.
I should have got my booster in I guess October, and I just I guess I hadn't, only because I thought maybe after the Delta wave pushed through that we weren't going to get hit with another variant. And then this new one came in, and it's literally shutting everything down again
Right.
almost. Um, I know the schools are talking about going virtual. I think Philly is virtual
Yeah.
because
Speaking of Pendelco, I mean, they're virtual this week. I heard. So
yeah,
I do gotta say, I mean, this one has impacted a lot like the original.
yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah, yeah.
it's a
It's
strain off of it, but I feel this is
this
definitely hitting a
this
lot of people more. I hear a lot more people in my inner circle getting it
yeah,
more than the
yeah,
original, and
yeah.
thankfully at this point, a lot of people are
Well,
vaccinated, and you're not getting it too
yeah,
late.
they're saying if you're vaccinated, and you do get it, that I mean, I only felt like I had a sinus infection, and I kept having to blow my nose. I did have aches the
Uh huh.
first night that I tested, and then I did lose a little bit of taste the second day. But
Hmm.
by by Saturday night, Christmas night, I was basically feeling like 90% like fine, and then Sunday was like 95, and then by Monday,
You were good.
yeah, I was fine. I wasn't like bedridden.
Right.
Like while I was feeling kind of sick, and like behind my nose and in my eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, because I was quarantined in my apartment with my girlfriend.
Uh huh.
Um, you know, I instantly was like, okay, I'm quarantined, and I like started doing all sorts of chores and stuff just to
Yeah.
keep busy.
Right.
um, but
It's definitely
but the,
not. I
but
mean, the only quarantine that we really had was because, I mean, me and my wife, we were pretty much quarantined because she was pregnant at the time. So we were. I mean, I was working, and she pretty much got off most of the time, so she had a pretty easy going into the going into having our son. But it was like, we didn't know anything about how this could affect her being pregnant, so we were that much more worried
anxious,
about
yeah,
being anxious at going anywhere, and who was coming in there
yeah.
and this and that. So
Because you guys knew you were pregnant before the pandemic hit, right?
yes.
And
Yes.
and the pandemic hit, and I'm sure. Well, because it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve, right? So
Yeah.
we thought it was gonna like we were gonna flatten it quick,
Right.
and
And then it kind of
three,
just spanned into 2 years.
3 to 4 months passed, and then you guys are getting closer to your due date, and I'm sure you were like, oh my god, we got to go in the hospital, like with like this pandemic still being a thing, like.
Even
Well, and
then,
you
I
guys,
wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to be in the room because I
that's
wasn't
right,
allowed. I wasn't
that's
even
right,
allowed to go into a
for
lot
the
of her doctor's appointments.
for her appointments. That's right.
The
Oh my
first couple
god.
months I was able to, but then as coronavirus started, getting more and more intense, they had to pull back and say like, hey, it can only be the one person. And even still today, when he has his checkups and stuff, there's only one parent. So I haven't even really gone to a doctor's appointment with him. I mean, I would usually, if I'm able to, would just stand outside in the car, wait for them. But I haven't even really went to a doctor's appointment together with both of them in months. I'm
What
probably a year. So
are his appointments at the hospital?
no, I mean, they are actually like right behind where the old Toys R Us used to be. There's a
What
pediatric place.
Ollie's?
Yeah. So there's a
Okay,
pediatric place back there, and
okay, gotcha.
so, but yeah, it's a nice little spot,
I
and
I didn't re-
uh,
I didn't realize that they were limiting to one parent coming in with them, but
yeah, and it's been I mean to the point now where he had his 15-month or 14-month checkup. He just turned 17 months Sunday. So we had a
Mhm.
15-month checkup, and we don't have to go back for another couple months. I think 18. So maybe next month. Yeah, I think it is next month. We go for another one. But even then, I doubt I'll be able to go in. Uh,
Especially now.
yeah, especially now. So, uh, but going into because we were hanging out the night before he was born. Little did I know, little guy decided to come early, and you know we
Yeah,
were
what was he? 3 weeks early?
yes, yeah. So we were
Yeah,
expecting
yeah.
the end
So
of April or the end of August, and here we are, the beginning of
we
August,
we we
and
should
I'm thinking of having our like last hurrah.
yeah. I was just going to say we should tell everyone uh, about that because me and you and our two other buddies,
Yeah,
uh, we I mean our group chat is kind of quiet these days, but at the time we were talking almost every day, and we hadn't. None of the four of us had seen each other. I don't
since
think.
maybe since or maybe like one time.
I I think
If anything,
I
I know
saw
you probably
I
may have seen one or two of them. I know I didn't see all three of you guys
yeah
until that night.
I saw my one buddy up in Philly. I stopped off. He stood outside with his mask on, and then I stayed in my car. I
That's right.
dropped him
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
I dropped him off a little pick me up gift.
yeah. And so
So,
we're
but that
having this
but
hangout.
we were we're having a pool party. We're cooking. We're having a cookout.
And we're
I'm
making
bringing
sure
some.
before that, we're trying to stay within means of like, okay, making sure that
Yeah,
everybody's kind of like
yeah. We
quarantined at least a week before and, trying to make sure that we're the
yeah
safest we
yeah
can
we
be.
nobody felt ill or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and there were four of us at the time. I think they were like limit your gatherings to 10 people kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we were like, I think the four of us can do this.
Right.
Um, and so luckily for you, you didn't get too crazy.
Oh yeah. I was even, and I won't go into much details about before going to the hospital for the sake of my wife, but I was
Good,
like,
good call. Good call.
yeah, and I woke up and she was going to Jersey to see her mom that day, and she gives me a call, and I'm waking up, not really hungover, but like you had like a couple drinks, and you're like, okay.
You knew you had a few
I had a
the day
night.
before. Yeah,
I had a night.
yeah.
And so she's like, I'm coming home. And I'm like, for what? And she's like, we're about to have this baby. I'm like, oh God. And that's like probably the most soberest call you can ever get. And then something that week told me to start packing. and I think we were already going to start packing because we were three
You
weeks
were
out.
you were getting ready, yeah, and
So
there was obviously a chance, not that you were expecting it.
nah,
Well,
yeah,
you were expecting.
right. Expecting to expect that, yeah. But yeah, so
Y'all that are
12
listening
hours
or
later,
watching,
here's little guy, you know, and
you're gonna get used to my corny jokes, and we're gonna get used to not cutting each other off either.
yeah, yeah, we're gonna get
We'll
better
get
at that.
seasoned. We'll get seasoned with that. So
Yeah,
apologies.
I mean, anybody tuning in right now, again, just to let people know, this is one set. This is a
Yeah,
podcast started by me, Anthony Irvin, and my best friend Jim Green.
that's right.
This is something that we've been planning on, and just another way to hang out and bring you guys along, and we're both you know passionate about music and dance, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that throughout the episodes, and we have a couple things planned with what we want this podcast to be, but we hope you guys join it along with us, and we'll be uploading, and by the time this is uploaded, you guys will be seeing this on YouTube, and you guys can follow us on our Facebook page, and we have an Instagram page as well. We'll be posting content on there as the episode gaining more, and let us know what you guys want to see
Would like us to,
talk
yeah.
about, or if you have any suggestions with topics, because we're thinking of certain segments. If you guys want to have certain segments you'd like to hear, or questions, if you guys have questions for us, we'd love to answer questions for you guys about our
Maybe,
passions.
yeah, maybe we can do like a mail call type thing where
Yeah,
people can like tweet at us or message us on our IG or even email us. You said
yeah,
it's onesetpod@gmail.com, right?
yes, yes. So you
That's
guys can
that's
always
the number one, right? The number one,
yes, the number one.
and
Yeah,
then
that's
set
important.
pod. Yeah,
So
don't be.
and as we get this whole thing going, we'll have our lower thirds and everything. I was totally unprepared for that this one, but like I said, we're making this as a pilot. We're just introducing you guys to ourselves in this podcast. But one thing that we did have here is, a drink of the week that
That's
we'd like
right.
to start. So, my friend, cheers to you.
That's right.
20+ years, my friend.
You got it, broski.
So,
Cheers.
what's your drink of the week, or drink of choice for the week, buddy?
I am enjoying a Crown Royal
Nice.
on the rocks.
On the rocks. I am
And
enjoying
also, go birds.
Go Birds. Go
That's right.
Birds. I'm enjoying a Angry Orchard crisp apple. If anybody's ever had either of these, comment your favorite drink, and tell us something you would want us to try. If anything, this is something we'd like to put in
Oh
every
my
week.
goodness. People are gonna people are gonna say the three wise men and want to see us keel over and
Oh
die.
yeah, we might be. This might be the last episode.
Cheers, my friend. It's
Cheers.
bad luck to cheers and then not drink, so I'm trying to get into that.
Yeah, yeah, man. This is fun
Little bite.
times.
Oof.
Good drink. Good drink.
Little stiff, but it's all right. It is 11:38 p.m. also for our audience, so
Yeah.
this is a nightcap that we will be doing, and we will be recording every Tuesday night or Wednesday night, depending
Yeah.
if the schedules permit. After I am done work, and it will be before it's a nightcap thing, so don't want our audience to think, oh, we're
Yeah.
recording this at 11:39
Right.
a.m. and we're doing a drink of the week.
And
It
it's
is
even at
the
least
end of the
enough to the
night,
point. Yeah.
so it is allowed. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. And
and
we're in the comfort of
we're
our
not
own home.
and we're not driving anywhere.
No.
So
No. We
we're
don't have a studio yet.
speaking that out. We're speaking that out there to the universe. Oh my goodness, if we had a studio space to record this together, like in person, because clearly we're at well, I'm in my parents' basement right
Yeah.
now because I have a dance studio built down here,
Uh huh.
um, and I didn't want to do it for my apartment because we have a dog, so I didn't want any
Yeah.
uh, noise interruptions while we were recording. But yeah, where would we have a studio? I mean, would we do it in like? I mean, I don't know if you have room to build out a studio in your basement. I don't know if Jen would be cool with that, but
Well, my basement did, recently, migrate into a child's play area too. So
you
I'm
got.
migrating my studio and a child's play area. If you can kind of
Um,
see the little.
I see it. I didn't realize little man was down there.
Yeah, we just got the basement. The basement.
The basement.
We got the basement finished.
What's a
Oh God,
basement?
I only had one sip, so
Uh,
I'm not feeling it. We only had one set, one sip.
it's just one set, one sip. That's the thing. If that's going to be a new thing. If you slip up your wording, you got to take a sip.
There you go. All right. Yeah. So we like to have fun. So you got to have fun with it too.
That's it.
But no, we just had our basement heated so that
Okay.
we can be able to have him down here because it doesn't get really cold down here. It just gets a decent chill. So
Well, and you're probably running out of space everywhere else in the house for all of his things, huh?
yeah, Christmas definitely ran in a lot of toys for him, a lot of new toys. But that's one thing too. Like we gave him this. He's a big Mickey Mouse fan. He had a Mickey Mouse themed birthday. Loved it. We gave him this.
When he ate the whole cake, he
Yeah,
ate the whole cake
he
in
ate
like what?
a
Not even 10
whole.
minutes. He just went pa pa pa.
He's
And
throwing it back.
I'm standing there with your mom like is he going to eat the whole thing?
And
And
there was
he ate the
nothing
whole
on
thing.
that floor. They had something put down on the floor so it can catch anything. There was nothing on that floor.
Nothing. No, he owned that cake. I was in
Yeah.
complete awe. The whole room at because we had a what was it, like a private banquet room
Yeah, yeah.
at the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
I just realized I'm like being really fidgety. I don't know what it is. So, apologies, y'all.
It's all good.
Y'all.
Yeah.
Jeez. Um, but the whole room was just watching it all like, oh
Yeah.
my god, oh my goodness.
And I was
I
expecting
just
them to probably take a couple bites and,
is
because
it
he doesn't really have too much of a, he doesn't like juice. We figured out he's not a juice person. But
okay? Does he have a big appetite though? Like, does he eat quite a bit, or do you guys like regulate it?
when he's in a growth spurt, he will eat. But then he has times where, he won't eat too much, but then he'll have a big meal later. So the boy can eat. He's got a little
Well,
bit. He's got a little bit of me in him, so he can
I,
definitely eat. He's got a little bit of that. He's got a little bit of Italian in him.
there you go.
But
I
yeah,
love it.
he can definitely put away some food if he wants to, and when he's in the appetite type of mood.
It's
But
gonna be a foodie.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, and I'm not sure what we were going off of before that, but
We were talking about the studio. Like
yes, yes,
if we had a studio, where would we put it? Or that's the thing is like if we had a location, you'd have to rent out the space,
yeah.
right?
The most perfect thing, if the studio was still up, that'd have been the perfect area. You
I,
know?
I was I was literally just thinking about that.
Yeah,
We could have. I mean, we built out a back office for my mom, and she never used it because she enjoyed being around everyone.
yeah.
We built it for her. I got this idea because I got um, when I was in LA. Uh, oh my god, that'll have been 10 years ago this summer. I was me and five of us, we rented a house for 6 weeks
Hmm.
so that we could, and the four of us um, drove across the country, and that was my girlfriend at the times. Uh, I think her mom actually suggested it, um, so that we could have a car to get ourselves around out there. And if I had to go back, I will completely do it again, because
Yeah,
I can say I knocked off my bucket list. Okay, I drove across the country and back. Like
that's something not many people
it's
could say. You know?
no, not it's not something you hear everyone say. But I mean, yeah, it took us like almost exactly 48 hours, and we really only stopped. Where were we? I think we were in like maybe Oklahoma or New Mexico. It was like the first place that we stopped and had a sit down dinner. Otherwise, we were
Mm,
just getting food like on the way,
yeah.
and just because what happened, what happened was we had the house from July 1st to August 14th,
Hmm.
and my studio at the time, they had a nationals dance competition in Lancaster that ended on July 1st.
Uh huh.
So we packed for LA before we went to the Nationals in Lancaster. And then when the Nationals ended and we were all saying bye to everyone, we got in the car and we left for LA right from there, because we were already paying the rent for July 1st, but we couldn't get there until like July 3rd. But we were trying to get there because we were paying to rent the house.
Yeah.
Um, so we left from Lancaster, and we got there. We left around 9 p.m. from Lancaster, and I guess what would have been 9 p.m. 48 hours later, but with the time difference, it was like 6 p.m. once we got to LA, and we all just got out the car and just laid on the grass, and we're like, "Oh my god, we made it! We made it!" Um, anyway, just to get us back to what we were saying,
Hmm.
so I'm not tangented too far off.
Right.
I'm gonna try not to do that too much, guys, but it's bound to happen. Everyone kind of
Yeah,
tangents
we're
once and
bound to
again.
go on little tangents here and there,
As long
as
as
long
we
as
can
we can
try
find
to
our way back.
find our way back. Yeah, exactly. Um, I was promoting for a convention that I used to travel with, Monsters of Hip Hop, and so they had postcards printed out promoting their upcoming season, and they were like, "Would you mind running around to some dance studios in the area and asking if you can just drop these on their front desk so that they can, push them out to their customers?"
Yeah.
Fumbled that up. I'm
Drag.
laughing. I'm laughing completely different. I think I'm just nervous a little bit for this. So hopefully my organic laugh will come out, or maybe hopefully it shouldn't, because it's not great. I
We're
don't have
we're
a great.
we're peeling back ourselves as the show continues to go. So
That's it. That's it. This is the pilot. So hopefully by episode 50, which I guess would be Christmas time next year,
hmm.
we'll have molded into. We'll have really shed light into our audience knowing
Yeah.
us, and be more open and ourselves. Anthony, as you have mentioned, you've been doing this a little bit longer than I have, so you're a little bit more fluent at it. Um,
And
but
it's sometimes to me like a fluke because, like I said, I'm not much of a talker.
sociable person, yeah,
Yeah.
I
But, so I take that as a high compliment. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I gotta pour ourselves back here because I'm not finished the story yet. I was promoting, so I was dropping these postcards off, and there is a super well-renowned studio out. Um, I want to say it's near Anaheim, California.
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, I want to go to that studio so I can check it out, because I would see all of their, not all of their, but I would see a lot of their studios competition posts on YouTube, and be like, oh my god, these dancers are out of this world.
Hmm.
Um, and I knew who some of their choreographers were, and I was like, I got to check out the studio. So I walk in, giant trophies everywhere,
Mm.
and then there is this lady at the front desk. She goes, "Hi, can I help you?" I was like, "I work for Monsters of Hip Hop. I was wondering if I could drop some of these off." And they have me kind of going around to different studios, and I'm a big fan of your guys' work.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I wanted to make it a point to stop here. And she was like, "Oh, well, we love when, fans of ours are able to make it through. Let me give you a tour." And then she introduced herself. She wound up being the owner.
Wow.
And I was like, "Yeah." Because people have front desk
Uh-huh.
admins or whatever, and I'm just thinking, here's this sweet lady, and she's like, "Let me give you a tour."
Right.
And then she shows us all five of their studios, and then they're attached to um, like a gymnastics facility with like a complete open floor.
Right.
And she gets me around, and I'm getting us there. Okay. Sorry, this is taking forever.
It's all good.
She swings us around to like towards the back of the studio, and she's like, "You see that up there?" She's like, "My husband just built me that. It's um it was like raised off the ground, and it was being enclosed." And she's like, "That's my new office so that I can actually get stuff done." Because um if you're up front and you're encountering all of your customers, she said, I usually get here at about 10 a.m. and I'm here until maybe 9 or 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. She's just 12 hours Monday to Friday. She had weekends off. But her kids were in every night Monday to Friday. Like they had to work or practice Friday nights, but those kids got the weekend off, which is I thought was a really great model. We you know me growing up, I always had rehearsals on Sundays. Um, and then when my family had the studio, we had rehearsals on Saturdays so that we could have Sunday off. Um,
Yeah.
so when the owner said that, she was like, "My husband is building me a back office so that I can get things done." I was like, I wonder if I could do that for my mom,
Mm-hmm.
because my mom always sat at the desk and she would be trying to do things, and then parents are coming in and they have questions, and
Yeah.
it's quicker to just answer in person, right?
Exactly.
Rather than you got to type up an email, and then we're flooded with emails, and then we're having to find time to get back to everybody, which sometimes wasn't easy at all.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know. Let's see, that was 2012. Um, what are we in? 2022. The studio closed. Halloween of 2020 was
Mm-hmm.
when we walked out of there for the last time. Oof, that was tough. I think that back office was there. It was built there maybe around 2015 or 16. So I'd say 3 or 4 years after the fact, I finally convinced my dad, "Hey, think we can get your brother, because he's a contractor,
Uh-huh.
to come in and build this out for mom." And once he finally did, and we renovated it and made it workable. It,
Yeah.
it was a back private office that we built completely for her, and she never used it.
Mm.
I used it
Right.
because I would go there, and I would go there, and if I had a break between classes, um, or if I ever had a lunch break on a Saturday rehearsal, which was very few times.
Yeah.
And I built the schedule. I
Right.
just was like, okay, if I'm starting at 8:30 in the morning, I can either schedule myself a 30-minute lunch break, and it has me there until 5, which means there's kids that are coming in at 8:30 9 o'clock, and they're there until 4. It's like way too long for them. I would give them like I would find time to give them breaks as long as they didn't have a million dances. But
Yeah.
I just sometimes would be like, no, I'm just gonna go straight through and try to snack when I can, or and a lot of times I get to 4:30 and I'm walking out of there and uh, I'm like, geez, I haven't eaten anything all day. It's wild. I'm running on fumes. I used to stay up until sometimes 4:30 in the morning trying to prepare choreography because for the longest time, um, I had to plan ahead
Hmm.
my content. I didn't trust myself to generate material on the fly on the
Yeah.
spot. Now it's like that's that's what I do 90% of the time is I'm like literally in the moment with the kids. Okay, listen to music, react, go with your gut,
Hmm.
and not for nothing. I have gotten really comfortable with doing that, um, and I'm not up until 4:30 every Friday night into Saturday morning, getting 3 hours of sleep, and then going and doing 8 hours of rehearsals all the next
Yeah.
day. So, um, but just to zero this out, that back studio, that back office,
Uh huh.
we could have ran the podcast out of there for
Yeah.
sure.
That'd have been
It's
that'd definitely
it's
been
it's
fun.
it's not a thing. Well, there is a new studio. I don't know if I told you this, Ant, but there's a new studio that moved into the
I
space.
think you did. I think you did mention that
Yeah,
there was something there. So
I am glad. I gotta say because that place was not fit out to be a dance studio when we moved in.
hmm.
My uncle, that same contractor, um, he helped us demo what we needed,
Hmm.
and then he helped us. Like I took the floor
We should have a count at the end of the show who fucked up the
yeah,
most.
yeah. So we'll have to tally up and see who had
We'll have to get
the
tallies at
most.
the end.
Yeah, who had the most. Well, I'll just call them f ups to
Yeah.
censor myself. Yeah. Gonna try to keep it clean, everybody. I teach kids, and if any of them watch this, I'm gonna do my best to.
Hmm.
I realize I'm enjoying an alcoholic beverage. I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone. Uh, I am about to be 35 years old next month, and am entirely allowed to have a sip. Again,
Oh
my
yeah.
first drink of the day at what is now 11:57 p.m.
Yeah.
So
Just about midnight.
judge me all you want. Go ahead. I'm sure one person in the world will be. Um, Man, I talked quite a bit about like some of my dance history, and I mean I have tons that
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
wind up. I like I said, I started dancing when I was 7. I'm coming up on uh, 28 years of dancing. I
Hmm.
don't I don't dance nearly as much as I used to, because I think through I think when I was 16 was when I started like creating my own choreography.
Hmm.
Um, but I was still heavily training as a dancer, and I was like, I don't expect to be a great choreographer anytime soon. I was just like dabbling. Um,
Yeah.
but then I think I was 17 and 18. The studio I grew up at did not have a strong hip hop program
Uh huh.
uh, when I started. So when I started having hip hop solos choreographed by outside guests that would come in and set material on me, um, that was and with me going to the couple of conventions that we did every year, um, and receiving legitimate hip hop training just at the convention, was what really sparked my interest into
Yeah.
going the hip hop route. Um, and then it was funny because there was, let me think, was I 16 or was I 18? There was a girl that I danced with, and then I wound up teaching because I was maybe 3 or 4 years older than her at the time. Um, this is no secret, so I don't mind putting this out there. And I am I think I mentioned the studio name that I grew up at on the Table Talk podcast. I am learning what to be discreet about and not say too much,
Mm-hmm.
just in case anyone from that studio, because we had a falling out upon my exit
Mm-hmm.
from that studio. So I'm not trying to disrespect
Right.
anybody.
Right.
So I'm putting that out there into the universe so that uh, if anyone gets a hold of this, um,
Right.
no, no, I'm not speaking
No hard
poorly of
no
you
hard
on here.
gain
No,
anybody
no,
here.
no, not even. And that studio is still open.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm happy that they are. And I am putting this out there that my family did open our studio about 3.5 miles away on the other end of the same town, and people, are going to think what they want to think about that. I should have gone farther. I lived in the township
Yeah.
that, you know, and my family wanted to open a studio. What, a half hour away? No.
Yeah. I mean, you
So
guys had an opportunity, and it's one of those things. I mean,
we
you had to go. You had to go for it.
the first place that we walked into and we looked at it, we were like, this is the one.
Yeah.
And
When
it
you know
was
when
it
you know
was
it, you know it.
it was my home for almost 14 years.
Yeah.
Even I started teaching at multiple well, okay, I picked up a second studio that I taught at one night a week in Westchester. I can say it right. Uh, and then I think I picked up a second night there. It worked out with my schedule with my family's
Right.
studio, right? Um, and then a few years later, I just happened to pick up the a third studio, and then I don't mind saying okay. So the reason yeah, just trying to decide if I'm saying the things that I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
I I look, okay. I dated a person who couldn't hold jobs. Okay. So financially, our joint income was always just kind of what I made, which when my family ran the studio, we were flat and we broke even
Right.
for the majority of the time that we were in business. I was not receiving pay. I
Which
did
is,
it because
I mean, in a way, kind
I
of like a
I
typical,
I, I
entrepreneur would.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we were a small business. We didn't. My family studio didn't have a lot of kids,
Mm-hmm.
um, a lot of students, rather, I should say. Um, we did it because we loved what we did and we loved the
Yeah.
kids, um, and we were passionate about our craft, right?
Absolutely.
Um, the girl I dated, who couldn't hold jobs. So if this gets back to her, like, I'm not name dropping here, but it is
Right.
what it is. I literally reached out to a fourth studio and interviewed, and I was like, I don't need this job. I'm just going to see if I can secure another studio.
Right.
So I was super confident in the interview because I was like, if they don't like me and they don't hire me, then
It's not making or breaking.
it's not making or breaking me. Um, I went for my follow up interview, like my final interview, where they were offering me like my contract, and they had just opened a second location, so they wanted me to teach at their one location one night and at another location on the other night, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, how am I going to squeeze this in with my family studio
Yeah.
and then at that point, I would have been teaching at with my studio. I would have been teaching at 4 other studios.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot.
yeah, I did that for I and I gotta say my team at my studio picked up the slack in my absence. Like between my mother and my sister Kim, they did the brunt of running the business, and then I just I had developed a hip hop program at our studio. I choreographed other styles too, but
Uh
and
huh.
I had a couple of kids that I did contemporary solos for that I fell into a passion of teaching. Now I love the set contemporary work. It's
Right.
because I do so much hip hop, and then I get a few contemporary gigs here and
Yeah.
there, um, and then I mean I obviously teach acro classes as well, but that's more so like I like to do it because when the kids learn the new skill sets, they feel so empowered, and it's rewarding. It's so exciting. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm talking so much about me, and I'm again. I'm gonna get used to this. You're sitting there thinking I'm just gonna let them run with this
I'm
again.
just letting them run. And here's
Yeah,
the thing: we need content. So I was figuring, hey, we got the background on Jim Green tonight. Second episode, we can run down on me and my background in music, because, I
yeah,
mean, for
totally.
people who have watched Table Talk, they've heard me rant about a lot of my music stuff too, but we may run into some new people and a new audience, so we definitely can give a good amount of feedback and storylines to how we got
Yeah,
into our
well,
things. So, I think Jim laid down a line of a lot of good things, and we have more to talk about. I mean, he only probably scratched the surface.
man,
But
I mean, like I said, I'm coming up on uh, 28 years of dancing. I mean, I kind of did a little bit about my like inspiration getting into dance as I was growing up, and then I talked a little bit about me and the teaching and me
uh,
on stage, uh, doing the backup dance thing. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm without my family business now since it closed.
yeah,
Uh, I am at four. I think I said earlier I'm at 4 studios now, traveling. But it's as much as I miss, I got to see my family all the time,
yeah,
and that was one of the you know um, pros about having the family business was I never went very long without seeing people. Like
exactly.
now, without it, I will say I I see everyone a lot less, and it's sad in that regard. But I'm fortunate that everyone is still around,
Yes,
and they're local. No one moves real far away. So uh, if I ever needed to see someone, I know they're a 10-minute drive away.
absolutely, absolutely.
At most maybe 15 minutes for my brother. But yeah. Um, so episode 2, maybe we can get into your music shtick, because I realized you said earlier that you're a scientist during the day. Um,
Yeah, and that's
I mean, I won't. Jeez. Okay.
I haven't had a
Another
drink.
tally
I
mark
haven't
for
had a
me.
drink either, so we'll do a double on this one. But yeah, we can get into a little more science side. I know you're a big math
Well,
fan.
and that's the thing we were talking about, Mr. Davis, and maybe this is how we can round out the episode. I actually in high school decided, well, growing up, I like wanted to be an engineer,
Uh,
like my dad, honestly.
yeah,
But so and I was naturally good at math in school, and then I realized when other people didn't understand math, how much I enjoyed helping them to understand it. And
yes,
they would say, my own teacher can't explain it this well to me. You should be a math teacher.
yeah.
So then I was going
That
to
was the light
college to
bulb that
become a
kind of got
math
that
teacher.
going. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and again, I was going to go. I wanted to go to NYU to pursue dance
Right.
uh, as a major, but I had a lot of teachers growing up that were like, if you already know how to dance, you don't need to go to college to learn how to dance.
Yeah.
If anything, I would have probably gotten a really strong ballet and modern um, program out of college. But for hip hop, like um, hip hop wasn't really big at a lot of colleges back in 2005. I
Right.
mean, you had some now like dance teams at colleges are crushing it. Like
Yeah.
hip hop went extremely mainstream, like hip hop
Exactly.
dancing, and yeah, that's like when I was traveling with the convention around the country, it was an all hip hop convention. So I got my training through my 20s because I didn't have very consistent hip hop training growing up. I got it in my 20s, and it helped me to nurture my hip hop program at my family studio.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I'm teaching at 4 studios, and I'm teaching, maybe close to 20 classes a week or something like that, and I'm teaching probably close to 200 students a week. So I'm like, this is good, and I have a couple days off throughout the week
Yeah.
uh, that I can get some me time in there. So and really, like having that time off last year after my family lost the studio uh, was when I really discovered the world of podcasts. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you and I always listen to the wrestling podcast, Living the Gimmick.
Yes.
Every Tuesday was the drop. And fortunately, since I work evenings and you have the luxury of being able to have headphones in while you're at your day job,
Yeah.
um, that was when you and I got like to hang out, even though we were just texting.
Yeah.
And we still do throughout the
Yeah.
week,
Every
unless
day.
if you
Mostly every day.
unless,
Yeah.
unless you're busy in the lab. Like that's you and
Yeah.
I are talking. We're talking about podcasts that we watch. Like we're huge fans of Your Mom's House and well, specifically Two Bears One Cave. Nothing against
Yes.
Christina, but
Right. And Bill Burr's
yeah, and
podcast,
Bill
Joe
Burr and,
Rogan,
and, and Joe Rogan. Yep,
and the late LTG is still around, but it's I
it's
guess
just it's
it's
just
just
Patreon
Patreon.
now. Yeah,
Just
yeah. It's
Patreon now.
not a podcast itself anymore because John's got the he's got the new gig he's doing, and yeah, it was sad to hear that they were signing off after their
Yeah.
300th or 300th. How do you
It was
say that?
300. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. We're not gonna be good at this tally thing. But
If we keep drinking, we're going to slip up more, and then it's just going to snowball, and it's going to get bad.
yeah, exactly. I think that's what
No, it's
everybody
all right.
wants us to do, though.
What do you think, man? We got to get out of here, or what?
Yeah, I think we got to wrap it up here.
Well,
We definitely went
what?
longer than we expected, but I think we got some content to go into another episode. And there's one thing that I wanted to say before we can definitely go into music wise for next episode, and
Mhm.
I would definitely want us to talk about the moment that we both like, from you watching me as a musician and me watching you as a musician. What was like probably the moment that made you think this kid can definitely do dance or music? So I think we could that'll be
All
like
right,
our
yeah,
homework to go on
yeah.
into
Well,
second episode.
yeah, and I think this is good. This can kind of segue our audience into saying, okay, we're kind of leaving them with like a teaser for what we're going to dive into in the next episode. So, um,
Absolutely.
we're gonna talk about Anthony Irvin over here and his passion for music and I guess maybe your journey, because I think I laid out some of the groundwork for mine
Yeah. And
today.
I got some
So
stories too, and I
yeah.
can try to censor a couple things and do a couple things with
Well,
it, but
we didn't know what we were going to talk about today, so the fact that I kind of got on the topic of that, because like you said, we want to let our audience know like how our passions for music on your end and dancing on my end drive our friendship.
absolutely. And one
So
thing with that is that we both support each other through our
Yeah,
passions, and we're always like, I'm always showing you different things with music. You're always showing me different routines, and we're always going off and giving each other feedback and stuff. And
I,
that's
I
what
want
I
to
love about it
say,
too.
I think it was within the last 5 years, and not to say that like you know prior to that,
Yeah,
if we talked about stuff, um, not that we wouldn't listen, but I don't think that we would like dive in.
yes,
But I think within the last 5 years, the more that I understood like creating like and
yeah,
choreographing, because I really and not to say that like in my early 20s that I didn't have moments where I created quality content. I was still learning how
yeah,
to create stuff, and I was still learning how to adapt to music.
yeah,
But I think I would say in the last 5 years I began to hit my stride and notice I'm creating a lot better work and a lot less things that I'm like, I don't love this. Where 10 years ago, while I was still finding my way as a creator and an artist, um, I'd have okay, I'd have one routine where I was like, okay, this is my best piece of the year, kind
yeah.
of thing. Um, but yeah, and now I feel like everything I'm touching, I'm really appreciating it, and that's you know, I used, Jesus, okay, I used to
One for the road.
one last one for the road before we sign off, and I'll wrap this up, okay. Um, uh, Thanks ahead of time, audience, for being patient, and if you're
Yes.
bored with my stories about my dancing, I know I am not for everyone, so that is okay. Um, but everything that I'm touching as a creator these days, I'm feeling really proud of, and it took me a long time because I was insecure with my work. Um, Through almost all of my 20s, I like always was like, I don't know if this is going to be good, or I would look at things and be like, I don't know if and it made me
Right.
question like, is this really for me? Like, can I get to a level where and honestly, and I know you can attest to this, like a lot of the times you're seeking validation,
Yes.
you know.
Especially for a musician, because
Oh my goodness.
especially for me, I'm my own worst critic as being
Try
a producer and a writer.
try to remember this for the next episode so that you can talk about that thing that just happened recently on your end. And do you know what I'm talking about?
If not, we could
Y-
say it off the air, so then we don't give it away. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No. You called me after you left. Um, it was like a open mic night.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Yes, I'll
so
definitely get into more of that as well.
zeroing, really zeroing in. I guess I could. Okay, fine.
Like, just do it.
Just do it. I'm at the bottom here anyway. It's watered down. I usually sip these a little bit quicker, but I was running my mouth so much. Jeez.
uh, but guys, before we head out, before we do our little sign offs, if we have any sign offs, I mean, I
Yeah.
know if anybody is watching local, I am playing a show on January 22nd in Harleysville at the Mainland Grill. So if anybody wants to come out and see me, yeah, I think if not just me, Jim might be able to come out. You guys can, some of you guys should already know and met us already. But if you guys want to hang out, and grab a drink,
I'll
feel
be there.
free.
I'll be there supporting my bro.
There you go. And
And
I
we
mean,
can
I know
hang and
Jim, you don't usually tour too much around this time. It's usually in the summer, right? Or is it kind of like
uh
usually like random months that are, you know?
it
I
you
know
know
you did a
what
whole big thing in the
it
summer, but
yeah, I had quite a few gigs in the summer, which was nice because um I had zero gigs through once COVID first hit.
yeah,
Um, Events weren't happening, so I can say my first my first big event was Memorial Day weekend down in Rehoboth Beach at
Yes.
Paradise Grill, and me and me and my buddy. I don't know if he'd want me to drop his name on here or not, but me and my buddy that were doing the backup gig, we stepped out, like we went through the back door of the venue, and we're in the vestibule.
Yeah.
And the owner of Paradise Grill, he took us out on. He walked us through a door, and all of a sudden we were on stage. The DJ's there, 2,500 people.
That's sick.
Unmasked, like
Yeah.
barely anybody in. And I was like, "Oh my god, the pandemic's over."
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. 6 months later, here we are.
Exactly.
The world's shutting down again.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just hope 2022 is, yeah. I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
Let's hope 2022 we can, get through this variant and
Wrapping up
get
this
back,
stuff, so we can both get out there for our sakes, because and we keep saying we're signing out, but I know for your sake, you got to get dancing out just as much as I got to play gigs. So it's one thing. Hopefully, this thing can start slowing down so we can continue to start getting these things out and going back to some type of normalcy. But guys, make sure you guys hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, and if you guys made it this far, just thought of this. If you guys made it this far, give us a one emoji. If you made it this far into the episode tonight, we appreciate everybody.
Just this. That's just for one set.
And again, this is one set. Make sure you guys hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to us. Follow us. They're all at the number one set pod. So make sure you guys follow us there, bro. This was an awesome episode. More to come,
dude. The first of many. Cheers, brother. I love you, man. Thank you so much for your time. Great to see you.
You too, brother.
To our audience, until next time, and thanks for listening. I appreciate you so much.
Guys.
Okay?
Have a good one.
Take care. Stay safe.